logo and the commitment of the Brady campaign to end gun violence. We thank them all for participating today. Before you leave, I hope you'll get a button that we've created in my office called Freedom from Gun Violence. And on this day when we declared our independence from England, we are declaring our independence here today by sitting in and saying we are declaring our independence from the gun lobby and the NRA. We believe that the Second Amendment is protected. We also believe that each and every one of us should be able to walk into a theater and not be mowed down like they were in Aurora, Colorado. We believe that everyone should be able to go to a nightclub like they did in Orlando and not be mowed down as they were. We believe that little kids should be able to go to school and not be mowed down like they were in Utah. We believe that college students going to the College of San Mateo should be able to go to school and not be mowed down like they were in Umpqua. That you should be able to go to church, my God, and go to a Bible study class and not be mowed down like they were in Charleston. So enough is enough. And that is why we are sitting in here today. And the sit-ins that we did in the House of Representatives was just the beginning. And we will be doing sit-ins across this country like we are doing here today to say enough is enough. Share one story. There may be other stories that you all want to share as we sit in here today. But this gentleman behind me, his name is Francis.
Homer Eaton.
Okay, Homer Eaton came up to me earlier and talked about how he graduated from college and went into the military as an officer and served his country. He told me that he has Alzheimer's and he had to take a test at the local DMV that determined that he no longer could drive a car and he no longer has a driver's license. But he can go into the local gun shop or he can go online and buy a gun today. He thinks that that is unconscionable. And we thank you very much for being here to share your story.
Could I say one other thing?
Yes, you can.
What I would like us to say is to have the courage. We register automotive vehicles, but we are prohibited from registering firearms. Firearms leave footprints. That's what the NRA doesn't want. That's what we must have. If you own a gun, register it. It can be tracked down. That's what they worry about. That's what we need to make happen.
Thank you, Homer. All right, other stories you want to share with me today?
My son turned 18, he has a lot of violent tendencies. And I called the Bureau of Firearms and said, my son should never have a gun. What can I do to prevent it? And they said, oh, you can't do it unless he's had a hospitalization. And then even then, it's only good for 6 months. That's crazy. That's crazy. I said, his doctor will attest to it. His psychiatrist will attest to it. Nope, sorry. So he can get a gun. When I read about mass shootings, I'm always thinking, could that be him? I want to protect him, and I want to protect the world. It's crazy. There needs to be control.
Kevin, tell us what the state legislature just did.
Well, let me first thank you all for being here. I want to thank Congresswoman Speier for her leadership, for her eloquence on the floor of the House, where she shared her personal story that was compelling, that I believe is going to be changing minds. Last week, in California, the legislature, I'm a member of the Assembly, we passed a sweeping package of gun control measures. Of legislation have now become law. Once again, California is leading the nation. We have the strictest gun control laws in America. However, we can only do so much at the state level. This is an issue of national concern. And when you're talking about interstate transactions, universal background checks, a whole host of issues that can only be dealt with by the federal government, we have to continue to protest the inaction of the House of Representatives and the leadership of that body. And I stand with and I sit with Congresswoman Speier, because with her leadership, ultimately, we are going to force action. She's going to force action. We're going to get this done on the national level like we should. So thank you all for your presence here today. Most of all, thank you, Jackie, for all that you do on our behalf.
Supervisor Dave Pine.
There's something terribly wrong when the President of the United States, almost twice a year for his whole time in office, has to address the nation because of a horrendous shooting incident where dozens of people are needlessly slaughtered because of the excess number of guns in this country. I think, as everyone here knows, there's more guns in this country than there are people, and that has to stop. Things have to change, and we here understand that. And I think, in fact, when you read about the polls in the country, the vast majority of the people in this country want reasonable arms control. And we're so fortunate to have our Congresswoman Speier, to be leading in Washington. And I think the tide is going to change. What happened in Washington when Congresswoman Speier and others sat down on the floor of Congress, I think it marked a historic change. And I'm more optimistic than ever that we're going to see some sensible changes made in the country. And I thank the Congresswoman and Assemblymember Mullen for the work he's done in the state, and thank all of you, because ultimately, if we don't speak up, nothing's going to happen.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having us sit down. Congress Speier, it takes an enormous amount of courage to do what you're doing. My name is Rudy. I've been a victim of gun violence. I've been on both sides of the gun, but I'm here to sit with you guys in solidarity to let you know enough is enough. And that it doesn't matter what nationality, you black, you white, how old you are, how young you are, you gay, you straight, how rich, how poor. When a bullet leaves the chamber, its whole objective is to kill and destruct. It doesn't discriminate. And therefore, standing here in solidarity with everybody. I do not want to see nobody else shot and killed or murdered, whether you young or whether you old, whether you black or whether you white. We have to stand up for what we believe in. We have to stand up against gun violence. When we come out and stand like this in solidarity, it shows unity. It's time that we start letting people know and recognize the truth of how gun violence is so destructive and how devastating it is, not just to me, but to everybody around here in your community. It's like throwing a rock in a pond. Everybody's gonna be affected by it. So don't wait until somebody you know or somebody in your family gets shot or gets killed for you to stand or you to sit down and do something. Stop. It says silence. We're tired of being silent now. We're tired of being silent. It's time to speak up. So, I just want to say thank you, Congresswoman, for having courage to be here, everybody else. But change starts with you first. It starts with you. For all you young people here, that's good that y'all here. It's important that we all stand together in solidarity to go ahead and stop gun violence. Thank you for having me. I'm from San Francisco. I can't wait out here. I know a lot of people on these pictures.
So 6 months ago, I decided that I was no longer going to do moments of silence on the floor. And I decided that instead what I would do is every month I would go to the House floor during 5-minute opportunities and talk about all the people that had been gunned down in a mass shooting the month before. And what you see here from the various months are those that were killed in mass shootings, which are defined as 4 or more people being shot at a particular incident. And what you will find is so many lives that were totally destroyed by gun violence that was just a matter of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or a situation where a whole family was mowed down because a spouse was no longer allowed to come into the home and decided to come in and kill everyone and then kill himself. And that's what's represented here. The Vietnam Memorial has 57,000 names on it. It was about a war that took about 15 years. But if you take that same period of time and look at the gun deaths in this country, a wall would contain 400,000 names and would span 2¼ miles. So if we need a visual about how desperate we are to change the mindset in this country around guns, I can think of nothing better than to think of 400,000 names. 33,000 people are being killed every single year from gun violence. And 250 of those children, infants, are killed because they got a hold of a gun and shot themselves or others. So the time has come for banning assault weapons once again in this country. Requiring that every gun that is purchased in this country, is subject to an instant background check. If you're one of the 40,000 names on the no-fly list, you're also not going to be able to buy a gun in this country because you've been identified as being someone who might be a terrorist. And we're going to support the reinstatement of gun violence research so we can understand more and more about gun violence. And we're going to encourage more smart tech around the manufacturing of guns. It makes no sense that we don't have guns that are recognized by your fingerprint. And so that others that get a hold of your gun, whether they've stolen it or a child picks it up, that they will not be able to discharge that particular weapon. So those are the kinds of things we're about. We're here sitting in today. I thank you very much for being part of this, and we'll continue to sit